The story of Prophet Yusuf, peace be upon him. Prophet Yusuf, peace be upon him, was the beloved son of Prophet Yaqub, peace be upon him, who also had 11 other sons. Benjamin, the youngest, was from the same mother as Yusuf, while the rest were their older half-brothers. When Yusuf, peace be upon him, was still a young boy, he woke one morning amazed by a powerful dream. He rushed to his father and said, "O my father, I saw 11 stars, the sun, and the moon. I saw them prostrating to me." Yaqub, peace be upon him, immediately understood that Allah had chosen Yusuf, peace be upon him, for greatness and prophethood. But he also feared the jealousy growing inside the hearts of Yusuf's brothers, so he warned him not to share the dream with them. As the years passed, the brothers' jealousy increased. They believed their father loved Yusuf, peace be upon him, more than them. Unable to control their envy, they planned to get rid of him by throwing him into a deep well. One day, they asked their father to allow Yusuf, peace be upon him, to travel with them. Yaqub, peace be upon him, hesitated, fearing for his son's safety, but eventually agreed. The brothers traveled far until they found a lonely well. Pretending they wanted water, they led Yusuf, peace be upon him, to its edge, grabbed him, and threw him inside despite his cries and pleas. Afterwards, they returned home carrying Yusuf's shirt stained with sheep's blood. Crying falsely, they told their father that a wolf had eaten him. But Yaqub, peace be upon him, noticed the shirt was not torn and knew their story was false. Even through heartbreak, he remained patient and trusted Allah. Meanwhile, Yusuf, peace be upon him, survived by holding onto a ledge inside the well. Soon, a traveling caravan arrived to draw water. To their surprise, they found a beautiful young boy clinging to the rope. Seeing an opportunity, they took Yusuf, peace be upon him, to Egypt and sold him as a slave. In Egypt, he was purchased by Al-Aziz, a powerful minister. Al-Aziz and his wife treated Yusuf, peace be upon him, kindly. And over time, he grew into a man blessed with wisdom, knowledge, and extraordinary character. Later, Yusuf, peace be upon him, faced another severe trial. The wife of Al-Aziz, overcome by desire, tried to seduce him while they were alone in the house. Yusuf, peace be upon him, refused, saying, "I seek refuge in Allah." As he ran toward the door, she grabbed his shirt from behind, tearing it. At that moment, her husband entered. She falsely accused Yusuf, peace be upon him, but evidence proved his innocence because the shirt was torn from the back, not the front. Although innocent, Yusuf, peace be upon him, became the subject of gossip among the women of the city. To justify herself, the minister's wife invited women to a banquet and handed them knives to cut fruit. When Yusuf, peace be upon him, entered, they were so astonished by his beauty that they accidentally cut their own hands. Still refusing sin, Yusuf, peace be upon him, prayed, "My Lord, prison is more beloved to me than what they invite me to." Eventually, he was imprisoned unjustly. While in prison, Allah blessed Yusuf, peace be upon him, with the ability to interpret dreams. 2 prisoners asked him about their dreams, and Yusuf, peace be upon him, accurately explained them. One of the men was later freed and returned to serve the king. Years later, the king of Egypt had a disturbing dream nobody could explain. The former prisoner remembered Yusuf, peace be upon him, and told the king about him. Yusuf, peace be upon him, interpreted the dream as 7 years of abundance followed by 7 years of severe famine, and advised how to prepare. Impressed by his wisdom and honesty, the king ordered Yusuf, peace be upon him, to be released. But Yusuf, peace be upon him, refused to leave prison until his innocence was publicly proven. The women, including the wife of Al-Aziz, finally confessed the truth before the king. Yusuf, peace be upon him, was then honored and appointed over the storehouses of Egypt. During the years of abundance, he carefully stored grain for the coming famine. When famine struck nearby lands, Yusuf's brothers traveled to Egypt seeking food. They did not recognize him, but Yusuf, peace be upon him, recognized them immediately. He treated them generously and requested they bring their younger brother, Benjamin, on their next visit. Reluctantly, Yaqub, peace be upon him, allowed Binyamin to travel with them after taking their solemn promise to protect him. When they returned, Yusuf, peace be upon him, secretly revealed himself to Binyamin and comforted him. Later, Yusuf, peace be upon him, placed the king's cup into Binyamin's bag. When the cup was discovered, Binyamin was detained according to the law. The brothers were devastated and feared returning to their father with more bad news. One brother stayed behind in Egypt while the others returned home. Yaqub, peace be upon him, overwhelmed with grief, cried so much that he lost his eyesight. Yet he never lost hope in Allah. Eventually, the brothers returned again to Egypt asking for mercy. At that moment, Yusuf, peace be upon him, finally revealed himself, saying, "Do you know what you did to Yusuf?" The brothers trembled in fear and shame. But Yusuf, peace be upon him, forgave them with kindness and prayed for Allah's forgiveness upon them. He then gave them his shirt and instructed them to place it over their father's face. By Allah's mercy, Yaqub's eyesight was restored. Finally, the entire family traveled to Egypt. Yusuf, peace be upon him, welcomed them warmly and raised his parents in honor. Then he said, "O my father, this is the interpretation of my dream before. My Lord has made it reality. The dream of the 11 stars, the sun, and the moon had come true." The story of Prophet Yusuf, peace be upon him, teaches patience, trust in Allah, forgiveness, and faith during hardship. Though betrayed, enslaved, and imprisoned unjustly, Yusuf, peace be upon him, never lost hope. He remained sincere, patient, and obedient to Allah, and Allah eventually raised him to honor and greatness.